G'day everybody and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I know it's been a couple of weeks, I've been away and I completely forgot to upload prior to going. Anyway, this house is, as you can see, built in Solani, and it's designed to be an island resort and also modelled after what you would see kind of native houses in some, in Polynesia and that sort of thing. So we've gone for these, unfortunately you can't do round in The Sims, but so these really sweet little octagonal shaped rooms, and I've put it out over the water as you would often see the Polynesian style or native village houses were on stilts partially over the water. We've got a cute little jetty at the back, just trying to make it do what I told it to do. And in the end, it came up really cute, but I did have a bit of struggle trying to work out how I would fit things in. So we have the walls there in the, I love this this distressed wood, the painted distressed wood. I think it's really cute. It certainly suits the beach theme, and it looks really elegant, I think, even though it's distressed and kind of aged looking. Really attractive looking on in this particular format. And looking back, I perhaps should have made the roofs the round roofs rather than the octagonal shape, because you can, if you don't quite get the octagonal shape right, the octagonal roofs don't quite fit. So this was my struggle. I was swearing a little bit here, trying to get them to match up, and in the end I just went, right, that's it, you're done, and left them at it. So in the end, we end up with a house with 3 bedrooms. You can see I don't bother with houses in the roofs in between there. And I did initially think that we would go with the thatched style of roofing, but I do think we changed that in the end. So as I said, in the end, we end up with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It has a gym. It has a spa / sauna / pampering room. And I think it actually turned out really well. And if it was me, I would love to stay at a little resort house that looked like this. If I was renting a house, not a horse, up on the north coast here in Western Australia, in Broome or somewhere like that, I'd be delighted to rent and stay at a little house like this. Or if you went to the Maldives and this was the little, if you're renting a suite and it was similar to this, I think it would be absolutely perfect for some kind of resort style living. And how awesome it would be to live in surroundings like this. And I'd love to hear if any of you guys live at or close to the beach or in a tropical beach area, what you feel is an appropriate style of housing for that sort of area, or what you do to manage it. Is it as nice as, I live in a city, is it as pleasant and lush and much slower pace than what we would feel here? Or is it just old hat to you? Is it just boring? Would you like to move to the city, for example? So just laying out the rooms, we have a unusually shaped rooms at the back there. That ends up being 2 bedrooms, and the triangular pie slice shape is the bathroom. I think it works out all right. I think, left the bathrooms out of the build because I don't know about you, but I get a little bit bored with, you can only look at so many, you always put the same things in a bathroom. It's always a tub or a shower. There's got to be a toilet. There's got to be a sink. There's got to be a mirror. You put the toilet roll thingy on the wall and you put a bath mat in, and how different can you make them? Seriously. I think we have, when we get to the screenshots, I think we have made them a little different for two reasons. One is obviously that we had to deal with the shape, and the second reason is it's a resort and I was trying to go for something a little bit different. But here's a tip, and we're just about to start doing the kitchen now, is the counters don't work very well on, they don't match up, the sizes don't match up when you're using them on a diagonal wall as to when they're on a straight wall. So, you know, that took a little bit of messing about and possibly a little bit of swearing on my part. So I was thinking about making a diving platform or a diving ladder on the other side, but it just wouldn't fit. So too close to the edge of the plot. And that's fine. Do you know what I mean? There's a ladder right there, and I think we do include a little sailboat there for decoration. So we're going to start decorating from the front of the house, and I think I just moved from front to back. We will see. It's been a while since I did this build. It is up on the gallery, by the way, and I will include a link in the down below. But as always, for those of you who haven't picked up on it, and those of you that do know, none of my builds include any kind of CC at all, so you don't need to go hunt for links. This is done using all packs, but if I get a request, I can redo this house just simply using base game and the island living stuff, because there's been lots of complaints. And, you know, I hear what you're saying. There's not a lot of gameplay depth to island living. You go into the cave, you only have to find it. It's not difficult to find. There's no adventure to find it. Come out, you've usually got some mermaid kelp with you. You eat it, you go in the water, you're a mermaid. Done. You dig in the sand a bit to start the island cleanup process, and it doesn't take, you can see here, this is where I'm struggling to make the benches match up, just simply because they don't clip together with that diagonal wall involved. So yeah, we'll just ignore the bits that poke out and the bits that don't. So eventually I got it to where I was happy. So island living, lots of complaints. I hear what you're saying. It is, I guess, difficult for them to make everybody happy, because, you know, even if they did include a massively reworking of how the gameplay works in island living, it would affect all of the other worlds, and you'd have people complaining about that. So I completely get it. But what I do love is all of the build and buy aesthetics that they included, and absolutely no complaints from me whatsoever about the items in build and buy. And you can see I put that lovely wall unit in. What I didn't notice until the very end was that it doesn't fit in the lowest wall height. Those plates poke up into the ceiling. It is actually and I forgot to put my move objects cheat in, so I couldn't get stuff to go where I wanted. So there's a quick little, yes, I use them, but that's the only, you know, that's the only way you can get things to go in the way you want. So yeah, what I didn't notice about that, that beautiful kitchen, or it's not even a kitchen, it's a dining room hutch display unit, is that it was so tall. So it gets removed a bit later on. I'm not sure if you see that in the speed build, but we replace it with something much lower and much more appropriate, I think. So you can see how they don't really fit quite properly like on that diagonal wall. But that's okay. They fit okay, and once you get them to line up, which I couldn't get that one to line up properly, it was so frustrating. You know, as I said, it took a bit of working out, a bit of swearing, but it all went in. And I think this is a cute little kitchen that is quite usable and quite fun to have in your build. It's a little bit of a different layout to what my kitchens normally are. So this shape and dealing with these types of room sizes and room shapes was a little bit different for me. It's always good to try and push yourself out of your comfort zone, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you identify as. Stretch yourself, you know, try different things. Don't hurt yourself and don't hurt anybody else while you're doing it though. So just getting some of the decor items in, you all know by now, I'm sure, how to get items up onto shelves that normally clip to benches. You've got to take the bench out the way. So those cabinets, place them on the cabinet, you've at least got a starting place, and take it back out again. So I went for colours that matched that beachy theme. A lot of blues to pick up on the ocean that's outside the windows, and the occasional touch of that darker blue. I think in the end I might have removed those curtains because they just don't, I think they're too dark. Alright, so here we're starting, that's the bathroom, master bathroom. And I had thought I took this out, but maybe I left it in. You see, again, this was a while ago, so I probably left this in so that because it was an unusual shape and trying to fit things in was different. So back to the kitchen. I did try and go front to back, but sometimes you find things when you're looking at decor and you go, oh gosh, I must put that somewhere else. And I do tend to do that if I see a picture or a decor item that I want to go into a particular room. I will, when I'm going through the catalogue, I will go and put it into that room. So I love the Machino stuff, and I kind of wanted to get yellow in there, but in the end, you will see that couch. I just couldn't make it match, so it's out. It's on the side of the road. Somebody else can have it, and we'll find something else. And I think in the end, we went for the I was trying all different things, something to try and give it a much more beachy feel. But in the end, I think we'd get rid of those again, and we go with the island living, the beds that came with island living itself. And I quite like it in this pink and blue colour scheme. It feels quite soft and inviting, but without being too feminine or being too fluffy or frilly or frou-frou-y. So it would be quite, you know, a place that a guy might want to stay, as well as, you know, his wife or his girlfriend, or a girl might want to stay, or whatever. It just doesn't feel too feminine to me. So again, trying to organise, trying to give the master bedroom its own little sitting area. In the end, I don't really think I liked how the bed sat under the window. I didn't really like the angle, so I think I moved it back onto the straight wall again. I can't remember, and maybe I didn't. Maybe I left it like that. Gosh. Like I said, I did the build a while ago, and this video a while ago. I just have not been able to get to do the voiceover. I've been so busy. We've been to PAX in Melbourne, and a shout out to all of you who were there. Granny L was there in full flight. I had a great time. I think I met some chap and I shook his hand for probably 15 minutes, and the poor chap did not know what to do, didn't want to pull his hand out of mine, but did not quite feel comfortable with this seemingly old lady with a walking cane and Dame Edna Everage glasses, you know, shaking his hand while she chats to him about the things that are happening at PAX and, you know, why he should sponsor her and things like that. So it was quite hilarious, and I tell you, at times I nearly broke out of character because he was just so funny. But yes, it was a very entertaining experience. There were some amazing cosplay costumes. Guys, girls, whichever, if you guys spend the time to make it's not even make, it's build a cosplay costume. Props to you. There was one girl that we met who was there dressed as Lady Jaina Proudmoore from World of Warcraft, and she said it took her 6 months to make her costume. And like, I'm just amazed and blown away by the quality of the costume itself and by the amount of time that has been spent, making this look exactly like Jaina would have looked. And it's amazing. And, we were so excited to see all of these cosplayers. We were so excited to see some of the new technology. Hands up those who desperately want a new Core i9 processor in their computer. Slash me puts my hand up. Who played some of the Fortnite battles there? I know I've never played Fortnite, but I did watch some interesting battles. What else did we see? There was just so much. And there was a really, really good separate display where it was encouraging girl gamers and women to embrace technology. So, don't be afraid. I'm an old lady. Okay, I've got grandchildren, so if I can do it, so can you. So I heartily encourage you to, embrace technology. Even if it's just learning how to use the apps on your smartphone, and not becoming engaged in gaming, you go for it. Okay, so back to the build. As you can see, this is the front room, and I've created a separate little sort of entry hall, and in here we have three distinct areas. One is that entry hall where you come in, you've got the little hedge screen, then you've got a living room area. I think I do put a television in there. And then off to what's the back of the screen at the moment is a little study area. And I think I changed out that rug because I think it was just too bright for me. But it was like this, the vision that I had in my mind for this house was that it could be used as your regular residence. You could live here. You could be an executive. You could have, because it's not a cheap house, as I'm sure you can imagine. You could be some sort of creator, like an author who's earned money for their writing. You could have inherited a bit of money, or perhaps inherited the land and built a nice home on it. Or it could be a resort house that people rent, like an Airbnb, or well, Airbnb is probably as appropriate as anything. Oh, I've got a story to tell you about Airbnb, and if anybody from Airbnb is listening to this, all three of you who watch this, a big shout out to them. When we got to Melbourne, we had we had a 3-hour delay in Melbourne before we. Sorry, let me take it back to the start. We had a 3-hour delay at Perth Airport. Our plane was supposed to take off at 1:45 in the morning. Thank you very much. And it didn't take off until 3:15, so 2.5-hour delay. My poor friend Atomic, who, if any of you are watching who are part of the Wilder Side Discord, you would all know Atomic is the co-owner of the Eden Universe gaming servers. He's co-owner of the Discord. And he is my very good and close friend, and I just adore him. But he had arrived at the airport a little early. He'd been dropped there by a friend because we were picking up a hire car. And because he's a local, he was going to be our driver, because neither myself nor my daughter Alexis of Oz. I hope I remember to put a link to her Twitch channel in the down there. Neither of us wanted to deal with the road rules that we weren't familiar with. And I guess I left that rug in the living room, and now that it's decorated, it doesn't seem so bright, so that might have been the reason. So anyway, Atomic was waiting there for us. He'd been dropped off early, and then he was at the airport before we even took off in Perth. So he was at Melbourne Airport for over 3.5 hours waiting for us. And he said he felt a little bit like Tom Hanks in the airport or the terminal, where he just walked around and around thinking, oh my God, am I ever going to get out of here? Am I ever going to see these girls? You know, what is going on? So very patient. So that was a delay. Then our hire car said that the particular brand of credit card that I use, instead of taking a $100 deposit, they wanted a $400 deposit. So that was dramas, and it didn't really say it in the terms and conditions, but there was a line in there that said see our website for other terms and conditions, and it was in the fine print and on the website, and so it was just drama all around. So we finally get our hire car, and mind you, guys, in Perth, we walked out in one of those air bridges from the terminal through to the plane. In Melbourne, we had to walk off the plane, walk down a set of open stairs, and walk 1/2 kilometre across the 1/4 mile, to those of you who don't live in Australia, across to the terminal. What's with that, guys, in Melbourne? Anyway, so there we are. We've got our hire car. We head off to Doncaster, where our Airbnb is. Spirits are high. You know that moment where you meet someone you've only known on the internet. Now, Atomic and I, we live on opposite sides of the country, and we didn't know each other in real life. So that moment where you go, are we actually going to like each other in real life, or are we going to lay eyes on each other and go, I'm not sharing an apartment with you for the next week. I think you're an axe murderer. Or he takes one look at us and go, crazy ladies, I'm not doing it. But no, we got on like a house on fire. It was great fun. We laughed for the whole week. We laughed from start to finish, which was great. So we're off to Doncaster, and we're waiting to get a reply from the lady at the Airbnb, the landlord. No reply, no reply, no reply. We finally talked to her, and oh no, I cancelled your booking months ago. And we're like, but we're parked outside on the road. Oh no, I cancelled months ago. And we were speaking to Airbnb, and they could see that the listing was still active, and while they were looking at it, the listing was pulled. So Airbnb, in an hour, found us a new place to stay, and they also paid for us to go and have a coffee while we chilled out. And then we got to our new apartment in Hawthorn, which was much closer to the city, so much closer to where we were going to want to go anyway. This gorgeous little apartment. They also paid the difference in the rental fees, because a more expensive apartment in a much prettier part of town, they paid the difference in the fees. And when we got there, the lovely lady called Mary, and I will try and also remember to put the link to her listing on Airbnb so you can go and check out the apartment that we stayed in. She was waiting there with us with a cold bottle of wine, and we were so happy to see her and so happy to see the wine. But the poor thing, we just went to her, that's fine, stop cleaning, because she was trying to iron pillowcases for us. Please go away. And Mary, we appreciated your little apartment so much. I can't tell you how much fun we had there. She was lovely, and even let us check out much later than what the listing says, because we had a later flight home again to Perth. So long story, fun story in the end. We call it our Melbourne adventure and the Airbnb incident of 2019, but it all worked out. Okay, so back to our build. You can see we've fully decorated. We've managed, and this is where I said we changed the roof. We've put a little bit of coral reef in there for you and a little sailing boat. All of the rooms are decorated. We've got a little sitting area outside. I would love to go and stay here. And I would love for all of you to come and share with me. I'm just saying, before you put your hands up, I get the master bedroom with the ensuite, but there's plenty of bedrooms in the back, and there's a couch in the front. I'd love all you to come and stay with me and have a Solani adventure with me. It was so much fun doing this build once I got my head around the shape of the rooms. The fact that I wanted it to look like these native buildings and that I wanted it to blend in with the ocean surroundings. And I think I did okay. It's not the dark wood on the outside like the pre-built buildings, but I think it looks different enough that it looks like a house that's been built specifically for someone or for a purpose. But the shape and the colours all help it blend into that beautiful oceanside environment. And you can see I've still got that tall hutch, or what do you call them? I'd call it a china cabinet in the kitchen or in the dining area. And that's where I take out those curtains because they were just making it too dark. And put some different, this is me doing the fine little touches. And we're onto the screenshots. I really, as I said, enjoyed doing this build. I hope you enjoyed it as much as me. And as you can see, I've got Derby Sim, Mr. Derby Handsome, who came and stayed here and was kind enough to let me take photos while he was here. So that's the master bedroom and the master bath. As you can see, the bathroom's indented into that little alcove, little toilet separate. The hallways connecting the rooms are open to the sea breezes. We've got the beautiful little spa and gym. One back bedroom which has a green colour theme, and the other one that has a blue, but still blue. One's blue green and one's green blue. I hope you had fun watching this. I will see you next time.